you stand for.
Oh,
I
man.
will kick your goddamn ass. You ain't nothing but a punk bitch. Fuck you and every goddamn thing you stand for.
Bro, who invited this dude, bro? What the fuck?
So, bye.
I'd
Boy,
rather
bye.
watch softcore porn than have to watch all of that.
Dude, whatever you're smoking, buy a ton of it.
I'm the greatest smack talking on the fucking face of the earth right now.
Then it makes me look like I got owned or something.
It's not clever. It's not interesting. It's not even funny.
You guys can't coach, to be honest with you. It's the high school coach.
Yeah, go ahead, Unabomber. What the fuck are you saying about the SEC, bro?
Well, this is smacking off. If you don't like it, change your diaper and leave.
You should be thanking me that I'm talking about Tennessee. You
Boomer motherfucking Sooner.
U.S. is far better than Oklahoma historically.
Your meatloaf is moist as my pussy gets. I promise you that one.
Don't be ridiculous right now, okay?
Fuck you, Freeze.
Please welcome our guest referee, Landon Beeman.
Bro, who invited this dude, bro?
You know what, motherfucker?
And welcome back to Smacking Off the Podcast. I'm your host, Shannon Madden, joined with Doug Phillips. Doug, what's up over there?
I'm hearing some weird sounds.
There's a lot of weirdness going on tonight. Lots of Facebook. Is that on our end?
I have no clue.
I don't know. Maybe it's our guest. We have a guest tonight. We have like more than one guest.
Yeah, we've got that. Whatever that. Oh,
Tiggy down.
Is that you, Josh?
Yes, I'm here.
Okay, I'm trying to figure out where that sound. Did you hear the sound?
There was a sound.
You wouldn't hear anything?
Do we? Is this happening? Are we doing this? Are we doing this shit tonight?
I think we are.
Hell yeah, that's what I'm talking about.
Can y'all hear us?
Yeah. Everybody listening, I know there's only a couple of you just tuned in because everybody's like, what the fuck's going on? These guys are late. This is more shit. This is not what I paid for with my free Facebook. So y'all just going to chill the fuck out. Y'all start paying me and I'll be on time. That's what I've been telling my boss for years. We got a show tonight. We were supposed to have a show like, I don't know, about 6 minutes ago or so. And then, I don't know, there's just a lot of technology. All this technology. See, there's that technology again. Do you think it's aliens? You remember Art Bell? Art Bell used to have really bad problems with like the government and stuff. So I think the government has infiltrated Smacking Off and is actually putting the smack down on Smacking Off tonight.
I don't know. It's weird though. It's a weird sound.
Yeah, everything's weird tonight. So we're just gonna roll with it. I think we're just gonna go ahead and press through. We're going to pretend like this is the end of the world and this is like our last broadcast.
Let's do it.
We should do every show like that, I think.
And what better to talk about at the end of the world than some spring league football?
Hell yeah, man. Here in Birmingham, we got a little something to poke our chests out about.
We do.
We're 3-0 right now. That's awesome. Trent Richardson rides again.
What are you thinking about this league, Josh?
Well, I'm liking it, to be honest. I thought, here's another...
Man, it's some fucking football. That's what's so beautiful about it.
What's that?
It's actual football. It's real football. It's not, some... I know there a few of the rules deviate here and there.
Not in an arena. It's a 100-yard field.
Yeah, it's an actual football game. It's not a kitschy product or we're going to change it up in this way and try to spice it up and make it more exciting. It's just, I don't know, it's a good, honest representation of a football game. Played with actual real football players. And like a defense and offense and referees and I hadn't really seen the cheerleaders. What are the cheerleaders like?
I ain't seen no cheerleaders.
I think that's what I think that's what this conversation needs to hinge on tonight is what the cheerleaders look like because, the NFL has some world-class babes. As cheerleaders. I mean, let's face it. I mean, think about any NFL franchise and their cheerleaders are just the absolute hottest of the hot. Scott.
Here comes that noise again.
Scott Griffin, I'm going to throw it back to you. Hot cheerleaders, what's your take?
Oh, man. I can't say that I've seen any on the sidelines yet. So, I mean, it definitely would help bring some eyes to the television.
There are cheerleaders though, right? I am right about this. There are cheerleaders.
They better kick it in gear because you know that XFL McMahon, he's gonna have some cheerleaders.
Oh man, he's gonna have some smoking hot babes. You thought that Asian chick that Robert Kraft was trying to go after was hot, man.
I didn't see that. I didn't see the picture.
She was probably haggard. She was probably
haggardly
a haggard Asian woman. You know, well, apparently now, look, I know we're laughing about it, but human trafficking is not a funny subject.
Oh, I know.
Don't mean to get off subject, but it's still a pretty hot topic right now.
Josh, I don't know much about the league except I know that Birmingham is 3-0. I think is Spurrier's Orlando 3-0.
Yeah, so you've got Orlando at 3-0, Birmingham at 3-0, the only two remaining undefeated teams. The Memphis Express and Atlanta Legends have yet to win their first game, although Memphis got pretty close in their last one against Arizona. And then the Western Conference, San Diego and Arizona both sit at 2-1, and San Antonio and Salt Lake at 1-2. So there's a little
Scottish Asian
competition, seems
fuck
like, in the
you.
Western Conference. But I'm liking the football that I see out of the Eastern Conference better.
Yeah, I mean, it's and again, an actual, real, honest-to-God football product. I'm loving it. I really am. We have yet to go to a game, though, and we really need to rectify that before the end of the season.
You know, I hate to bring up something. It's not really completely off subject, but how old is Trent Richardson?
I don't know. He's like, what, 53?
No. Is he too old?
I mean, it seems like forever today ago.
I know the NFL are watching these games as it's like a farm league, but is he a little too old to think about getting back into the NFL? Is Richardson is he shot as wide?
I don't think he's too old.
How old is he though?
28.
Oh, is he 20? Okay, yes. Yeah, he could get in there for a few years.
Yeah, I mean, really, to what end though? I mean, especially with the constant, talent, young, fresh legs that are not prone to injury or not as prone to injury.
I think that's the beauty of spring football. I don't know why it took so long for football to decide they needed a minor league. Baseball's been doing it forever. Basketball's been doing it, and then here comes football, and all of a sudden we've got a minor league. I think it's a great opportunity for some of these players who didn't get a shot first go around, or their time in the NFL wasn't long, to be able to have a stable of players to plug and play. If you have a marquee running back go down, you have to put your backup in for the rest of the season. To pull somebody like Trent Richardson up and have him, spelling your backup running back. That's a good thing.
I mean, how realistic do you think it is, though, that this league will produce those, a lot of that next level talent, or do you see it as a situation like in the major leagues where it's definitely for the development of the player, whether it be a veteran player, whether it be a kid coming in? And do you also see a situation too where them signing these, multi-million-dollar rookie contracts, but they have to earn their way up through the league just like everybody else?
Yeah, so the way that the league was set up, from everything that I've read, each team has a set of NFL teams that they're affiliated with. The same thing with their recruiting pool, at least when they started the league. Now, I don't imagine that it will stay this way. My guess is when players come out and they don't make NFL rosters, they'll go to whichever AAF team is willing to pay the most. But from the looks of it now, each NFL team can pull from their designated AAF team. And so, I mean, from everything that I see, it looks like an actual minor league system, like a farm system for NFL players.
Yeah, that was my thought.
You've got great coaches down there. I mean, look at Memphis. Memphis hasn't won a game, but their defense is phenomenal. With Mike Singletary coaching, they're learning from NFL legends how to play the game. And I see a lot of kids who you probably never would have heard their name, but they're already shaking loose in the league and emerging as stars, like Luis Perez at Birmingham. Why have I never heard his name? And he goes out and just starts bombing the ball. I mean, that's I guess it's because of his size. He wasn't a prototypical quarterback. he didn't make the league, but the kid's got an arm and he can run an offense.
Yeah, true story. We're 3-0 right now. Go Iron. Or is it Go Iron? How do we officially say that, Doug? Do we know?
I don't know, but I did like Bobby Wesson's idea of naming the cheerleaders the Iron Maidens.
Oh yeah, that should have that should have already happened.
It should have.
Yeah.
Nobody listens to Bobby Wesson. Not anybody up in that organization.
They should. Bobby's a smart dude.
Yeah,
he really is.
And the hair.
He's an Alabama fan, and that's what's important here.
Josh, you're from Tennessee.
Originally from Texas, went to the University of Tennessee, and now reside just north of Knoxville.
Wait a minute. He's a Vol fan?
He is a Vol fan.
Oh, let's go ahead and kill this call. Hey, we really appreciate it. No, I'm just kidding. Just kidding.
Well, I had no idea I was walking into a pair of Bama fans either.
Yeah, we're a bunch of
mutual kind of
Bammers up here.
I didn't say Roll Tide yet, did I?
No.
How did you figure it out?
It was coming though. It was definitely coming.
Look at the use of the pronoun we.
Oh yeah. So you live close to Nashville. Have you seen an AAF game yet?
You been to Memphis yet, or well, I guess is that the closest game to you?
Memphis or Atlanta. Atlanta's actually about a 3-hour shot for me, and Memphis is going to be more.
Hold on, now Birmingham should be closer than Atlanta.
Yeah, you come to Birmingham. Come watch a game with us. We live right down the street from Legion Field. Don't tell anybody that.
I just feel nasty stepping in that town. That's
why. What's wrong with Birmingham? Birmingham's all right as long as you're not trying to buy drugs. If you're trying to buy drugs, you better stay trapped. I'm just saying.
Well, we vacation in probably my next least favorite state of Florida every year, and we got to drive through Birmingham, and it just always feels dirty as a Vol fan and a Tennessee alum driving through those states.
As well, you should, because I drive right by Legion Field at least just about every day of the week, and think about all of the horrible, horrendous losses that the Vols suffered there. It's a beautiful thing. Anyways, enough of that. That's not what we're here to talk about tonight.
We're going to have you on.
Yeah, we'll have him on during the season and talk shit with
as
him
a Vol fan.
Yeah. But right now we're equals.
We're a man while he's down.
I know it, y'all. Hey, man.
Y'all beat Auburn.
Everybody's really high on Pruitt this year. As far as this is going to be his breakout year. So I don't know. Me personally, as an Alabama fan, it benefits us when a good Tennessee team joins us the third Saturday of the month of October.
Tennessee and Alabama, and I guess you could throw Florida into that mix, are really the only national brands in the conference, in my opinion. Georgia fans think they are, but they're really not.
Well, they're getting there if they stay consistently.
They're Tennessee's coming along finally. Even with the 5-7 season last year, I just felt like it was better football. It was better. It was more pro style, more smash mouth football, and we just didn't have the roster to support those kinds of systems.
Probably going to take a while to undo the damage that Bujo,
Here's one thing that happened last year that you're going to be able to. I mean, it's an amazing feat is to go on the road and beat Auburn at Jordan Hare, because that's hard to do, even when they're shitty.
Very hard to do.
I mean, they're a tough team at home, even when they're not good.
Yeah, because I really think the NCAA needs to investigate what's going on down at Jordan Hare, because there's some fucking cheating going on. They're like putting, I don't know if they're putting LSD in.
I think Tennessee brought their own water and their own.
That's probably what it was. Yeah. Yeah, they kept that shit on.
Yeah, I think there was some talk about that before the game, actually.
Talking about the dirty shit that they do down there.
Oh man, that is legendary.
Yeah, they did a whole segment on it before the game, if I'm not mistaken, about Tennessee bringing their own water.
One year, I can't remember. Was it Alabama? Had went there one year, and for some reason or another, they mysteriously didn't have hot water running in their.
Yeah, the hot water broke down over on the visitor side of the locker rooms.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's always something down there. The headsets go out.
Oh yeah.
The lights go out.
Yeah. It's a beautiful thing, and of course the NCAA looks the other way on it. Those boosters got some money down there. Auburn as a whole is a rather poor area, but man, them boosters. Whew.
Yep.
Auburn alumni loves to spend some money on some shit football. But anyways, we'll talk about that some other time, because we will definitely talk about that some other time. Hear that, don't you?
You got a feel for this new league? I mean, didn't somebody buy the league after the first week, or somebody else become? Go ahead.
That was kind of a false report, or maybe a misleading report is probably the better way to say it. The owner of the Hurricanes invested $250 million into the league. Reports came out almost instantly saying that he was bailing them out, but turns out the follow-up reports from all credible sources that I've read are saying it's just an investment. He liked what he saw. He put $250 million into the pot.
So really all that happened is somebody new became the majority owner. Kind of. Yeah. It just kind of shifted around a little bit. It wasn't like an all-out sale.
I'm not sure if 250 bought the majority, but I mean, it's possible. I don't know the specific numbers on it.
I want to bite your finger. It's a Dracula game. Just set the clock. Just try your luck.
If Dracula's cape opens, you have to put your finger in his mouth and press the lever. If he leaves a mark on your finger, you have to start over again.
He didn't bite me!
If you can sneak all the way around Dracula's house, you'll win the game.
You're not supposed to bite people.
It's a Dracula game.
I want to bite your finger from Hasbro.
Smacking Off invites you to join us on the podcast. If you have an opinion on an upcoming game, some commentary on your conference, or want to roll with one of your fellow smackers on air, hit us up. You can message us at the Smacking Off or X's and O's Facebook pages, email me at maddenShannon@toothfairy.com, or call us on the Smack line, 304-508-BAIT. And as always, fuck your team.
I do know that whenever they initially set the league up, though, they declared that league was sustainable for 4 years without $1 of revenue. So
I'm hearing I'm hearing rumors, and I don't know if this is true or not. If it's just bullshit going around that some players are not getting paid already.
Yeah, there was actually an article. They had to get I think they sold the league to somebody to get a cash infusion.
Oh yeah, we were just talking about that, but he said it's not really like that.
Yeah, well, I mean, and again, there are.
And he said that somebody willingly put in $200.
Yeah, you have to forgive me. I had to step aside. I don't know if you heard the crying baby a moment ago, but I honestly tried to feed a baby on the podcast. I think that's a first, is it not?
It worked.
Nobody's ever done that.
I thought it was.
I don't know. Timothy Bailey may have fed his child at some point in time because I usually hear Booger in the background.
I feel like this league's going to make it, but maybe it's just me wanting the league to make it because I really like.
Here's one thing that we need to point out, and I can't remember which game, if it was the Birmingham game or one of the other games over the weekend. They actually were number 2 in their entire time slot for television, for TNT on a.
They was only going up against the Charlie Brown.
But at the same time, it was still enough for the industry to take notice, and of course that's going to bring advertisers.
Yeah.
That's going to pump money into the TNT, and again. It really won't matter. It's kind of like the bowl games, and this correlation was made one of the local shows here in Birmingham, sports radio, and the correlation was made as far as bowl games and what's going on with the AAF, as far as if you can get television money involved in it, then it may actually last a little bit longer because even with lethargic fan bases. That if they can see it on TV, then suddenly there's more buzz about it. You kind of follow what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Like, right now, right now Birmingham number are okay, but of course, Legion Field is a very cavernous place. I think, what is a sellout there? 80,000 or more?
Mm-hmm.
Which it can seat more, but they now have, it's so old and decrepit that they have areas that they won't seat.
They don't want to sit, yeah, exactly.
Yeah, for liability purposes, and I don't really blame them. But that place is not going to be there too much longer.
Okay, Josh. So how does this shake out? I'm thinking the Iron, Orlando, Atlanta, and Memphis is one division.
Orlando, Birmingham, Memphis, and Atlanta.
Okay, and then you got Utah and.
Fuck Utah. Sky and a station. That one's for you. Fuck Utah.
Arizona and San Antonio in the west.
Okay, so what happens? these two divisions are going to field the champion, and that's going to be your Alliance Bowl or whatever you call it.
Yeah.
Yeah, it seems that way for the first season with only 10 teams, or 8 teams, sorry. I can't really see a playoff kind of happening. It seems to me like their best record from each conference goes to the championship.
Well,
and
it looks like the real championship's going to be won in the East. Whoever wins the East.
It appears so.
Yeah.
Birmingham is a really balanced team. They're good on defense and offense. And then you've got Orlando. They're just offensive juggernauts, of course. What else do you expect from a Spurrier team? And their defense has managed to keep them in games so that their offense can win it. I think that comes down to which one of those things are most effective when they meet up with each other.
Changing the subject just for a second, Gabriel Griffin, who's watching the podcast, said thoughts on Auburn versus UJ moved to October. Have you heard anything about that? Auburn and Georgia moving to October?
Yeah. So apparently Auburn was pitching a fit about having to play Alabama and Georgia back-to-back.
Yeah.
And so they wanted the schedule moved around, and yeah, they're from what I've heard, they've changed the schedule.
When does that start?
Don't have the information in front of me.
It's not next year, is it?
I can pull that up here in a minute, but yeah, that's gay as fuck.
Yeah, but that's
not in a fun way.
That's still big news. I mean,
I'm sorry, that's bad. That's a bad look for Auburn, number one, and number two. Auburn is so stupid not to realize that if Alabama and Georgia continue their dominance, if they beat both of them, like they've done in years past, even with 2 losses, suddenly they start to look like the best team in the nation. So that is really, really, really short-sighted on their part. But hell, that's Auburn. I mean, that's why Auburn continues to revel in the mediocrity that they do.
Gabriel Griffin says it starts 2020, so we're close.
I was thinking that it was not this season, but next.
Yep.
Yeah, I mean,
right.
And again, it would be just like if Tennessee right now, in the state that Tennessee's in, as far as the annual meeting with Alabama every year, for that suddenly to there's been discussions of that as far as these kind of rivalry games, mid-season rivalry games, suddenly falling by the wayside, so the rest of the conference can actually have a shot at some of these better teams, or that they can have a shot at some of the lesser teams, because of the way that the schedules play out.
Josh, have you watched all the teams yet in the Alliance?
I have not put eyes on Salt Lake other than a few downs.
Yeah.
In their game with Arizona.
All right.
But for the most part, I've seen just about everybody play. Yes.
All right.
I saw Salt Lake play Birmingham the second half of that game, which was. I mean, unless you're a defensive, fan of defensive football, it was pretty much a snooze fest. It really was.
You got any thoughts on who's going to win this thing?
I think in this first season, you're probably going to see the most proliferative offense take the title. If I had to put money on it, I would say Orlando wins it. If Birmingham defense comes on a little stronger, then they're going to be really tough to beat. They've got some really good players on the offensive side of the ball. They let some big plays happen to them. Seems to be every game on defense, and their offense kind of bails them out. So if they can find some defense, some consistent defensive play, then Birmingham's got a shot. But my guess is one of those two teams pulls it out.
I'm really looking forward to Spur. Tell me this: how long is the season? Do you know?
I think that the playoff is in, or not the playoff. The championship is. Let's see. I wanted to say May.
And is that a neutral site, or is that, I guess, whoever has the best record?
I guess my question is does Birmingham end up playing Orlando twice? Once there and once here, or is it just a one-game affair? You know, I actually looked for the schedules earlier, and I couldn't find them.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying, and that's kind of been frustrating. It seems like when you go to look for a college football game, even no matter how obscure the game is, you're going to be able to pull something up on Google really quick. And it seems like the AAF is kind of catching up a little bit as far as the internet presence goes and all of the other stuff. I mean, they have those things in place, but go ahead.
I'd say the best place to find the information on it's the AAF website, aaf.com. I'm looking at the schedules here now. Birmingham and Orlando do play twice. They play in Week 5, Orlando at Birmingham, and then Week 10, Birmingham at Orlando.
You know what, Shannon? You might get me to Legion Field when Spurrier shows up.
Yeah, that'd be a good one, man. You think we could corner Spurrier and get an autograph, or he'd probably call security with?
I don't know. Yeah, he's still a badass too, even at 70.
I don't know. I think he'll probably. When does he start drinking in the game? Later in the game. He doesn't like.
Does he have a thermos? Because it could be early. I don't know.
Yeah.
But he don't drink nothing but beer.
That's what I'm saying. If we could catch him like right between drinks, like 4 and 7. I think
strictly
we have a chance of
cerveza for.
Oh, hey guys, yeah. I'm Steve Spurrier, man. I used to coach Florida. Woo, you got any liquor?
Yep.
It looks like we have a 4-team playoff too. In the inaugural season, Saturday, April 20th, and Sunday, April 21st. Is the 4-team playoff with the championship game landing April 27th. So by the end of April, season's
so now, but how do they determine the sites as far as where those games are played? And you're going to educate us on this one because I have no idea. I guess does that have something to do with records or where they finish in their division, similar to NFL or other places we've seen?
My guess is top 2 records.
Yeah.
On in each conference will get a spot. They'll probably be seeded 1 through 4 based on their record, and it seems to be that they're using points scored on offense as the tiebreaker.
But as far and that determines the sites that those games are held.
By all accounts, I can't see them doing it another way.
Yeah. Well, and again, I don't know if they have a neutral site thing set up, or I know that they're not really super flush with cash at the moment, and go rent out somewhere like the Rose Bowl or
Yeah, everything on their website just says TBD, so it's.
So they're making this up as they go along, but I don't know. I think the fact that they've established some television presence, the fact that people are aware of the brand, you do have some butts in the seats at some of the games. San
Antonio is cranking out the tickets, man. They're selling out every game.
Well, I think Birmingham would too if we were held in a different venue, because Legion Field, the immediate area around Legion Field is it's considered to be a rather questionable part of town.
Yep.
As far as right there in and around the neighborhood. I don't know. I think it's really much ado about nothing. If you go back and look at crime incident reports, you have problems further out west and further out east of Birmingham. I've attended a few games there over the years. Attended a UAB game there. Attended a couple Alabama games back in the day, long time ago, and a couple concerts as well. And have had nothing but a good time at Legion Field. It's an old lady. It's going to the bathroom is a nostalgic situation.
Yep.
Yeah, that bathroom is that bathroom that you can literally step back into time as soon as you walk through that bathroom, except for the cake of urine that splatters just about every square inch of that wall. I'm sure Bear Bryant's pissed in that trough because they still have the trough, don't they?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
Josh, before we let you go, I want to get your prediction on your Vols going up against Kentucky for the second game. When I think Kentucky's coming down to Lexington, what's going to happen?
Man, I think they've lost a little bit of their confidence, if I'm being honest.
Yeah, I agree. Definitely not.
And that's frustrating because they are every bit of the best team in the nation, talent-wise. They have the ability to beat anybody that they play. I mean, the team that sits atop the national standings right now, Gonzaga, they beat them convincingly, and it wasn't even a question. And this recent loss of confidence after Kentucky just laid it to them in the first matchup. You can they're a changed team, and it worries me a little bit if I'm being completely honest. The last game versus LSU, you saw a little bit of that fire back, but I think that the only way that they beat Kentucky in the next game is if they had beaten LSU, and that didn't happen.
You don't think it's setting up? You don't think it's setting up right for your Vols then?
It's not looking good. If they win in a close game.
All right.
And maybe Duke losing to Virginia Tech tonight gives them a little bit of a life, a little bit of something else to play for. Trying to regain that number one spot. I mean, I think if they manage to pull it off against Kentucky and win convincingly, then there's a conversation there at least to be had, put them back in the top three. But and they'll be gunning for that one seed that Kentucky just took from them.
That's definitely going to be what this game's going to be about. This Kentucky.
And it's going to be horrible when every single one of these teams gets knocked out in the second round of the NCAA tournament.
Yeah.
I mean, don't you hate that? We have so much drama and I mean so much actual real, physical football leading into the NCAA tournament, and then a situation like that happens. Doesn't happen often, but it does happen.
And I think you're going to see a team like Marquette or Murray State end up in the Final Four, unfortunately.
Yeah.
And they're both hot as fire right now, and I think they got a lot of momentum going into the tournament, and they go pretty deep. So that leaves at least one of these top dogs sitting at home watching the Final Four. Probably, knowing my luck and the way that the Vols have done me over the years, it's going to be Tennessee. But we'll see. I mean, I think for sure they've got a lot to play for. Whether or not they get their confidence back enough to knock off Kentucky, I think if they knock off Kentucky, so we got. I think Ole Miss next, and then Kentucky. Ole Miss, I'll give them a game. That squad's pretty good.
They're decent.
They managed to take a. What's that?
They're decent.
Yeah, they're a team that can beat anybody. They're not. They haven't done it every chance that they've had, but they can definitely give anybody.
I think there's a few teams in the SEC you could say that for. Well, speaking of which, we need to have this conversation with Robert Arthur and Tiggy because we're on that basketball subject.
Absolutely.
Hey man, we really appreciate you coming on. You going to come back on again, please?
Oh yeah, I'd be glad to.
Excellent, good deal. Let me write this down real quick. He is coming back on.
You ain't got no paper, you
Shut
asshole.
The fuck up, man.
All right, man. I appreciate it, Josh.
You guys have a good night.
Thanks, Josh. Take care, man.
Bye-bye.
All
right. That was Josh Griffin.
I think I called him Scott too, and I feel bad about that because I've been dealing with a guy named Scott recently. Man, there's a lot of stuff going on right now.
All right, we're gonna go to a commercial.
I love this. We're technologically we're back on the air. This is fucking amazing.
We overcame, man, somehow. We're gonna go to a commercial and then we're gonna come back with Bob and maybe Tiggy. Shit.
Balls.
When the sun goes down and the evening rolls around, that's the time I find got blue ribbon on my mind. I got that blue ribbon on my mind. More and more lately I find I've got a taste for living. I'm thinking cold blue ribbon. I've got that blue ribbon on my mind.
Good Pabst, America's premium beer since 1844. Pabst, a lot to look forward to.
Our audio-only podcast is hosted at podcastgarden.com/podcast/smackingoff, or find us on Google Play Music or on iTunes.
Falls. The weekly State of College Hoops with Robert Arthur.
What up, Bob?
What's up, guys?
Living a dream. We were supposed to be joined with the one and only Tiggy Doms, who decided, I guess, he wasn't going to make it tonight.
We're still ringing him. But
we're still ringing him.
That's awful, man. I can't believe he pulled out on us like that.
I mean, seriously, tonight of all nights with his Zags at number one. I mean, you would think he would be coming in swinging his dick around and banging it up against the walls and shit.
Will this even happen again in his lifetime? The
Probably
Zags
not.
at number one?
Probably not. No.
It may never happen again. I mean, I'm sitting here and I'm all prepared to talk about Gonzaga, and he didn't show up. I mean,
I'm looking at it right now. It says Tiggy Doms, no answer. Punked the fuck out.
Whatever he's smoking, buy a ton of it.
Well, you know, he's got a bunch of it up there in Washington. You know, it's legal up there.
Wink. Hallelujah.
Yeah. So what's up, man? How you doing? How you feeling about your cats?
I'm feeling pretty good about them, except for right now they're laying an egg, but it's the first half. They'll come out in the second half, most likely win. You know, so it's a pretty good season for them, considering that they got one of their main guys hurt right now. I think he'll be back in time to play Tennessee on Saturday. And I think we're going to win that game again.
Again?
Oh, yeah. And
yeah.
I think possibilities are that the gentleman that was just talking there on the podcast may be right, that Tennessee's confidence may be crushed. It'll suck for them even more if they lose a third time going in the SEC Conference Championship. But let's not get ahead of ourselves. LSU can play basketball too, guys.
Yeah, we know now. Well, I mean, we kind of knew it coming in. We've mentioned them here and there, sprinkled in conversations as far as, you know, being a NCAA tournament pick. But yeah, they're moving and grooving.
Well, you know, really the thing with LSU is their guys are long, athletic. They got some of the best athletes in the country. They had a great recruiting class. They're one of the few teams that's athletic enough to hang with Duke with Zion Williamson. Now, he's coming back too. Everybody's talking down against Duke, and obviously they're not as deep as Kentucky. I mean, Kentucky can win without Reed Travis. Obviously, Duke is having a hard time beating unranked teams like Virginia Tech without Zion Williamson. But when he's on the floor, he's a phenomenon. He's the best player in the high school since LeBron James, in my opinion.
That's a very, very strong advertisement. I can't believe Tiggy's doing this to us. This is really just this is crushing my spirit right now.
It's hurt me because I really wanted to talk about Gonzaga and their schedule, you know. I mean, one of the things we talk about a lot here.
Well, hey, he's not here to defend himself, but fuck him.
Yeah, fuck him.
Let's go ahead and talk this shit.
Yeah.
I mean, you know, you hear these guys all the time here on our Smack page talking smack about SEC schedules, about how they ought to schedule one more school. So I'm looking here, and hats off to Gonzaga for playing Texas A&M, Illinois, Arizona, all unranked at the time. Then they beat Duke by 2, which hats off to them for that. They beat Creighton, which is a fair basketball team. They beat Washington, who is ranked top 25, will probably be in the tournament. But then they lose to Tennessee. Now, Tennessee has a lot of good athletes and a lot of athletes that are upperclassmen that know how to play the game. That might be a little foreboding there. And then they lose to North Carolina the game after that. Well, we roll on through. I'm looking through their whole schedule. I don't see a quality win left on their schedule. They got one guy hurt. I think if they put if UK is a 2 seed going to the tournament, which is possible, most likely a 1, but if they come in as a 2, they'll be the highest ranked 2 seed. That would put them in the same bracket as Gonzaga, and they'd be done. That's how simple it gets.
Yeah, Tiggy. What were you going to say about that? Oh, yeah, that's right. You can't because you're not fucking here. Oh, my anger. Oh, my anger with him.
You know he's asleep.
Yeah, he's asleep. I think what it is he jerks off right before he does this, and it's a crapshoot as to whether he stays up or not afterwards.
Yeah. Kind of takes it out of you sometimes when you're a young fella.
Yeah, when you're a young fella smoking the pots. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, they have a lot of the pots up there in Washington. You know, I heard that the there's so much pot has been grown in Oregon, because Oregon's legal up there too. That whole region up there is you can smoke the pots, and apparently there's so much of a surplus there that it's driven the wholesale prices down, and like weed is like the wholesale price is like $1.50 a gram or something like that. It's something ridiculously cheap.
Gabriel, you want to come on and talk with Bob? Gabriel don't like Kentucky. I'm guessing here. Kentucky.
I wish they'd import that problem over here. I'll tell you that straight out.
Well, Arkansas is a good team, and I mean, they're
not really.
I mean, they're okay. I mean, Bob's on here. I'm trying to make him feel better.
They're just playing with Arkansas like a kitten with a June bug. Man.
Yeah.
Arkansas's playing a good game. Kentucky's making a lot of turnovers. They're trying to get two of their big men involved while Reed Travis is out and get them worked up and coached up in time for the tournament. If Arkansas wins the game, hats off to them. It'll be a great effort. They're playing real well. They got one guy that's shooting real well, a freshman. His last name is Joe. That's unusual, but his last name, he's burning it up. But there's a whole half of basketball left to play. They're at Rupp Arena. If they walk out there with a victory, it'll be a big day for the program of Arkansas. I'll say that.
It will be.
It's not going to stop Kentucky from marching on to the event, chance to hang the 9th banner. And don't make no mistake, when it comes time to hang out banners, UK's going to be there to play in the games to decide to have their Elite 8 at the worst, Final 4 most likely. Kentucky's one of the 3 most athletic teams in the country, right? If it comes to coaching, that puts them right now, in terms of who's left out there, puts them in the top 2 teams in the country. So, it's my opinion, it's going to come down to Duke and Kentucky. These other teams can fluff up. They can talk about how great they are, but they're just going to beat each other up at the end. I love Michigan State. They're the other team that has coaching left that could win it. But they're going to play Michigan the last game of the season, just like North Carolina. North Carolina has a little bit of coaching, right? But they got to play Duke the last game of the season. And again, within a week from them during the ACC tournament. All those teams are going to be beat up just like UK will. But UK's deeper than Duke, obviously, right? UK's deeper than Tennessee. They've proved that. I know Gonzaga don't have talent from 1 through 12 like Kentucky does. They might have 4 players that UK would sign, but that's about the end of it.
Gabriel Griffin's got something he wants to throw in here. He says Kentucky won't make it past the Sweet 16.
Oh, well, we'll see what happens. It all depends on how the brackets line out, but I don't see it.
Is anything going to stop Gonzaga from getting a top seed?
Oh, nothing's going to stop them from getting a top seed because they're not going to lose any games between now and the tournament.
That's what I was thinking. Their schedule plays out real well.
Their schedule plays out real well. I mean, we'll do their last 5 games are San Diego, Pepperdine, BYU, Pacific, and St. Mary's. They got 2 games left in the regular season. Pacific and St. Mary's. St. Mary's is a longtime foe of Gonzaga's, but unfortunately, the last time they met, Gonzaga beat them 94-46. So,
ouch.
I don't really see Gonzaga having any challenges before the tournament. I don't think they're going to lose their seed. I don't think that. I think the season's going to come down to whoever wins last between Michigan and Michigan State, and between Duke and North Carolina, and whoever wins the SEC tournament.
What do you think about Nevada? Because I know they're up in there. I think they just lost.
Well, I'll say this. Nevada's one of the kinds of teams that can disrupt the tournament, right? Nevada can beat teams like last year. Kansas State beat Kentucky. Stuff like it's been known to happen. They're one of the teams that can do it. Kansas State's another team that can go deeper in the tournament than people think. LSU, Murray State could disrupt the tournament. Murray State has a NBA first-round lottery pick player on their team that's plumb out of hand, right?
Do you see Nevada and Gonzaga as the only hope the West has? The far West?
Washington's a solid team, but I don't think that they can I don't think they can get past the third weekend of the tournament. Sweet 16, maybe. I think the Pac-12 is a respectable tournament, but they don't have any stars. They've been beating each other up. They didn't do well in the out of conference. They're going to.
I'm just ringing them to piss them off
The SEC is
now.
going to be better this year. The SEC is probably going to be, in my opinion, is going to be the second best conference in the tournament.
Man, they've still got Alabama penciled in. I can't believe that.
I mean, Alabama's played some good teams tough.
They ain't played Texas A&M very well.
Well, no, but I'd like to see Alabama get in the tournament. I don't know if they're as disruptive as some of the other teams.
Again, if they make it past the second round, I'll be rather surprised. Particularly right now, if it were to come in and they were to win out, and we're not talking about the tournament, the SEC tournament. We're just talking about the regular season. If they were to win out, then they're projected as a 12 seed.
Right. I don't know though. I mean, Alabama's showed some good moments. They just keep shooting each other in the foot with turnovers and stupid plays and stuff like that. I don't know that when they get in crunch time, that I don't know if the X's and O's are on the floor are always the right ones.
Well, and there's a lot of Alabama fans grumbling about that too.
And I don't really want to be specific because I like Avery Johnson. But let's go back to other teams that could win the whole thing. Marquette. Did you know that Marquette's the only team that I know of that has a winning record against Kentucky in history?
Wow.
And Marquette's a team that's really tough that could win it. Murray State's a team that could knock people out of the tournament even though they're not even ranked. Do you remember I said Murray State, by the way? I don't really see that Michigan State has the coaching to win it. Houston can contend. I know that sounds insane, but really, I think it's going to come down to Duke and Kentucky. Virginia's the outlier, but I think they choked in the tournament last year. I think that their style of play is good for tournament time, but there's no room for mistakes with Virginia's style of play. If they play a team that's every bit as good as they are and is on a roll, playing possession by possession basketball as Virginia always does is the way the tournament works. But you can't. It's hard to keep that up through 6 consecutive games, and that's why I'm not picking Virginia to win it. I love the way they play basketball, but it recalls for 6 games of perfection. Now, somebody asked about Syracuse the other day. I guess they must have been a homer for Syracuse. Well, Syracuse has played a little bit of basketball this year, but they got a big problem winning the national championship. Now, they were very lucky the year they won the national championship that they had that much talent on the floor and everything broke their way. But here's the fact. Jim Boeheim only plays one defense, the 2-3 zone. All it takes is one hot hillbilly or Hoosier and game over for Syracuse. Right?
Yep.
One guy that can hit the three consistent all night long is having the game of his life, and Syracuse is done. So, any way you slice it, if you look through this, I think it'd take a massive collapse. I think the Final Four might be, I'd say, Duke, Virginia, Tennessee, and Kentucky, depending how the brackets break out.
Well, so 2 teams from the SEC
in the Final Four.
In the Final Four, that'd be big time.
The only way that could happen though is if one or the other one gets the 2 seed in the bracket opposite the other. Right. Otherwise, you got to put.
They have to go through each other.
Put Michigan State in the Final Four.
Yeah.
Well, Michigan State looked awfully good against Michigan the other night. I watched.
Well, see, Michigan's a team that's John Beilein coached team. They're a team that relies on the three, and I know it's popular to play 3-point style game to stay in basketball, but you can't rely on it. What do you do when it dries up?
Because it will. It will at some point.
At some point, it will dry up. You've got to have slasher penetrators, big-time rebounding, and solid defense to win it all, and Michigan State has all those and coaching.
What's going to happen with Gonzaga? They're not going deep into the tournament, are they?
I mean, it all depends on how if the brackets break out right for them, they could be a Final Four team. I just seem, because of the fact that they lost to Tennessee and Carolina back to back. Those are two top tier teams nationally, but they're only contending for the top tier in their own conferences, and yet they both crushed Gonzaga, especially North Carolina. I just don't think that they got the horses. I don't think you can play. I don't think they go no further than 6 or 7 deep with players that can play for North Carolina. We'll put it that way.
Well, this is fixing to get interesting. We getting into March, and it's coming right up, and I'm actually excited about it. This is the first year I've really paid more attention to basketball than.
Well, I'm really excited about it too, and especially because the kind of weekend we're going to have basketball-wise, schedule-wise. I mean, we're going to have Tennessee and Kentucky again. Big 12 is interesting because Kansas don't have it wrapped up. Kansas State and Texas Tech both have a chance. They both got big games this weekend. If Kansas State wins its next 2 games, they can take the conference outright and knock Kansas out of it. So some people say that they think that Oklahoma might be a tournament team, but I don't know how they're going to do it unless they make a deep run in the Big 12 tournament because they don't have a winning record in their own conference. They look good outside of the conference, and they got some good players. But I'd like to see an outlier from Oklahoma. I'd like to see an outlier like Oklahoma from Big 12. Now Baylor's a pretty good team. They got a winning record in the conference. They could do something, but I don't like their style of play for the tournament. Then you go. There's a few. Houston is nobody's talking about them, but they might need to start doing that. So Houston's another team. I love the outliers, guys. Somebody to come in, beat everybody they shouldn't, but always somebody has to get left out when that happens.
True story.
Anybody that's still watching this, I just threw a Tiggy's graphic up. Tiggy, this graphic took me like 8 hours to make.
Yeah, you're a fucking asshole. We just want you to know
It took
that.
8 hours. The shading on his upper lip was...
Damn.
You see that?
Yeah, I see it.
So,
well, Zags are number 1 and Tiggy is not. So
yeah.
that's really, I think that's the synopsis here.
Yeah, fuck Tiggy and fuck Gonzaga.
Yeah, fuck them Zags.
Yep.
There you go. That's how I feel about it.
And I'm gonna have to go with Kentucky.
Yeah. Yeah.
There you go. I mean, Tiggy needed to show up to get his little check. That's what we was talking about last time we debated basketball, right? He was talking about what happens when cupcakes like Gonzaga show up at Rep Arena. They leave with their little check, right? So he needed to come and get his little check, you know?
No check. None whatsoever.
No check for Tiggy.
Gabriel over here in chat, Dick Riding Gonzaga. I love it. Beautiful. He is Dick Riding Gonzaga hard. Oh, well, it is what it is. Well, okay. Bob, we really appreciate you coming on, man. And Tiggy, we appreciate you not coming on, dickhole.
All righty, guys. I had a great time. Appreciate it.
Find Smacking Off the podcast on YouTube, at Podcast Garden, Google Play Music, and iTunes. Make sure to check out the 9 p.m. Eastern, Tuesday and Friday Facebook Live episodes at #FamilySmack.
Please subscribe to our channel by clicking the small Smacking Off icon at the top of the screen now. Click the link at the bottom of the screen to watch last week's episode.